In 1967, Muhammad Ali was the heavyweight champion of the world. He was untouchable. Then he said one word that cost him everything. No. Most people think Ali's greatest fight was in the ring against Frazier or Foreman. They're wrong. His greatest fight was the 3.5 years he spent in exile, stripped of his title, banned from his craft, and labeled the most hated man in America. Today we look at the dark truth of the champion mentality. To be beloved by history, you must first be willing to be destroyed by the present. The context was the Vietnam War draft. In 1967, Ali refused to be inducted into the U.S. Armed Forces, citing his religious beliefs as a Muslim minister. The reaction was swift and brutal. He was convicted of draft evasion, sentenced to 5 years in prison, fined $10,000, and stripped of his boxing license and world title. Let's talk statistics. Ali was banned from boxing from age 25 to 28. For a heavyweight, these are the god-tier years for speed, reflexes, and athletic peak. Imagine being at the absolute red line of your career. You're the fastest, strongest, and smartest you'll ever be. Now imagine the government cutting your fuel lines. Ali didn't just lose money, he lost his time. His prime years were stolen. In today's world, people complain about a bad week on social media. Ali lost 3 years of his prime for a belief. If you aren't willing to lose your platform for your principles, you don't have principles, you have a brand. His exile turned him into the most hated man in America. The same crowds that once chanted his name now burned his posters in the streets. News anchors and politicians vilified him, calling him a disgrace and a traitor. This wasn't just a career setback, it was a psychological war. He went from a global hero, adored by millions, to a pariah who couldn't get a boxing license in any state. He was isolated, cut off from the sport that defined him. The champion mentality isn't about the roar of the crowd. It's about the silence when the crowd leaves. Ali had to fuel his own fire when the world tried to suffocate it. He became the greatest, not when he won the belt, but when he stood alone in a courtroom facing prison and didn't flinch. He traveled the country speaking at college campuses, sharpening his mind and his voice, refusing to be silenced. This period forged the man, not just the fighter. His internal governor was set to a standard no opponent could match. But there's a darker side to this story, a physical debt that came due. When Ali finally returned to the ring, his style had changed. The exile had robbed him of his peak speed. He had to learn to take more punishment to win. Fights like the Rumble in the Jungle and the Thrilla in Manila are legendary, but they came at a horrific cost. Later in his career, he absorbed an unbelievable amount of damage, particularly in brutal fights against Ernie Shavers and a final tragic bout against Larry Holmes. Soon, the signs were undeniable: the slurred speech, the slowing movements. In 1984, just 3 years after his retirement, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's syndrome. This is the part the motivational posters leave out. Greatness is a transaction. Ali took an estimated 200,000 hits to the head over his career. He traded his physical health, his speech, his movement, his golden years for immortality. Every time you say you want to be the best, you are signing a contract with pain. Ali knew the bill would come due, and he signed it anyway. Are you still sure you want the crown? Fast forward to the 1996 Atlanta Olympics. The world watched as a lone figure, trembling but resolute, made his way to light the Olympic cauldron. It was Muhammad Ali. The crowd, once so divided, was now united in awe, many weeping openly. The man who lights the torch in Atlanta is the same man they tried to bury in 1967. The difference is, didn't stay buried. The champion mentality isn't about avoiding the hits. It's about making the hits count for something. Your prime might be under attack, you might be misunderstood, but if you stand for something, you can never truly be beaten. If you're fighting for something bigger than a paycheck, drop a boxing glove emoji in the comments. Fuel up. We don't quit. Thanks for watching.